Well, sports fans, I told you this day was coming. If you've been watching some of my shows, some of my past hosts and people I've had on the show talk about SEC football, we've talked about the perennial favorites all the time, but I told you that there was a beast coming soon. Guess what? They're here. They're here. The Tennessee Vols. They have the best offense statistically in collegiate football. They have one of the most exciting offenses to watch in collegiate football right now. If you want to know why they're so good, sit right down right now. I'm about to drop this knowledge to you and talk about it. I'm going to pick it apart. Why is Tennessee Volunteers offense so good? Right here on Coach One Sports with yours truly, Coach Kevin Bull Jones. I get excited talking about football. Yes, I always like to talk about defense, but sports fans, I've been watching the Volunteers play. I've been watching how they get points and how they attack defenses. You know, a lot of times as a defensive person, it's really good to know some type of offense and vice versa, so you can be able to know how to defend things and understand the psyche over what happens. Well, I'm here to bring it to you right now. So if you like this show, make sure that you subscribe. Hit that button. I got more coming. Also comment. Those that have commented in the past, you know I'm going to go ahead and respond back to you. Like and share, Coach One Sports. Okay, here we go. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Why is the Tennessee Volunteer offense so good? Well, it starts at the top. It starts right at the top. Josh Heupel. Josh Heupel, success everywhere he's been. Offensive guru in the making. Okay. Came from University of Central Florida where he was the head coach, went 28-8 there, led them to a 12-1 season, put up crazy numbers offensively, one of the top 15 offenses in the nation. You know, he did a great job at University of Central Florida. Also had some kids go to the league, 5 that is, drafted, the most ever in one season at UCF. Great area of football, but Josh Heupel was able to really grab hold of that area and that community and put UCF on the map. But that's not where it all started. It all started as a player back when they had the BCS National Championship game. Y'all remember? If you're old enough, you remember. Okay, well, he won a national championship in 2001 for University of Oklahoma. He tutored and learned under a man by the name of Bob Stoops, a legend in coaching, collegiate football, defensive guru. Once he left Florida and came to as a defensive coordinator, and he left and came on over to Oklahoma, just able to really put his stamp on things as far as taking OU to several national championship games. Okay, Heupel was part of that. For 2 years, he led the offense. For 2 years, he threw for over 7,000 yards, over 50 touchdowns. I mean, had a great career there as a starter. He bounced around a little bit in different places, but once he finished his also he was a runner-up as a Heisman Trophy quarterback. Let me back up. He was a quarterback that was a runner-up. There we go, for a Heisman Trophy. Okay, so what I'm really saying is he had a pedigree of some success from the offensive side of the football. Now, here's the thing that connected. Spending 9 years coaching with Coach Stoops, quite surely, you know, being able to understand why defenses move the way they do in certain coverages and certain schemes. What makes a defense say, ouch? You know, you're around one of the best to ever do it. Quite naturally, some of that is going to peel off on you. He was there for 9 years, sports fans. Okay, he's had a chance to coach in 17 bowl games. Okay, so he's no spring chicken. Okay, he's still got the baby face like me, but he's no spring chicken. He has been able to masterfully put together and be a part of programs that were winning on a consistent basis and had a tremendous amount of offensive success. So he's been a part of that. Okay, not only, not to mention, a couple of national championship games he's been able to coach in, as be on the side of coaching, whether it's co-offensive coordinator or whether it's quarterback coach. So he's been able to run the gamut and see it all. So you're talking about the head of the Tennessee Vols football program, who was a doormat these last couple of years, and just trying to get his way back into the winning ways. Wasn't going as well as planned with Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt. Those things happen in college football. But this young man, and I still call him young man because he's able to get to Knoxville, Tennessee. He's able to put together tremendous staff, and he has decided that, along with learning and tutelage of Bob Stoops, as just far as the leadership part of being a coach and those intangibles, those things to motivate players, and also to be a hell of a recruiter, he's got to put together he's got a recipe for success on the offensive side of the football that's going to light up the SEC. Who would have ever thought? And listen, he also was the old offensive coordinator at Utah State. Okay, and they also had over 450 yards total, average 450 yards total offense when he was there. Also, he was offensive coordinator in Missouri. Missouri, they were in the top 10 in offensive stats. And once again, that magical number, 500 yards total offense. Not just throwing the ball, also running the ball. That unique blend that defensive coordinators like me just, that bothers us a lot, because we figure the offensive guys, they're too smart for their own britches. That's what we think. They outfool themselves, outsmart themselves, excuse me. They do it all the time. But when you're able to be successful doing both things, running and throwing the ball, it makes difference. But here's the part that Josh Heupel brought in that shook up the SEC. He goes NASCAR, which means he runs a play. His goal is to have 2.9 plays ran every minute. Okay, I said 2.9 because for statistical reasons, that sounds cute. But sports fans, I don't give a flip what it is. It's a problem for defensive coordinators to deal with. Okay, up-tempo, fast football, have to make a decision. Okay, so here, let me break it down to you. Nuts and bolts. You got a very good coach, been under great head head coach. He's learned great football. Now he applies it in the SEC. He recruits kids to come to Tennessee and play football. And now he has the pick of the litter of trying to get together a great staff. Josh Heupel has to do it all. 28-8 as a head coach at UCF, and now he's in Knoxville. What happens? Tell you what happens. Here it happens. He decides, I'm going to bring the up-tempo game to the SEC. Guess what? Whew, that's tough. I'm going to make you pick your poison. What am I going to do? First of all, I'm going to spread the defense thin. How am I going to do that? I'm going to take my receivers and I'm going to take them past the numbers. Not just past the hash, but past the numbers. So you have more space to defend. The safeties have to worry about the alleys, that hash area. Okay. The corners have to worry about the sidelines, streaking down the sidelines. And then here's the part that hurts the most. It stretches the defense first and second lines of defense. So if you run an odd front defense, you end up, instead of having, let's say, 3 linemen, 4 linebackers, or 3 linemen, 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and a nickel, you can't do. You have to spread everybody out. Now, when you spread them out, sports fans, now it's a numbers game. The numbers game goes as such. Okay, 5 defenders on defense are at a mismatch if the offense has 7 offensive guys. Those 7 being the 5 offensive linemen, the quarterback, and the running back. So we got 10 personnel, 2 receivers out flanked wide on each side, all the way to the sidelines, all the way past the numbers. And then inside the box, you have a guard, 2 guards, 2 tackles, a center. You have a quarterback who's also the third leading rusher on the team. What are you going to do? And then you have 2 very good running backs. You have the shifty running back and the smalls kid, and then the right kid comes in there. Sports fans, and then the 55 meters in high school, he ran a 6.29. Okay, so he's fast all day long. So what happens? You thin out the first and second layer of lines of defense. So now instead of having 7 guys in the box or even 6, sometimes you're down to 5. You have 5 defenders in the box. Well, last time I checked, and math wasn't my specialty, but it was enough for me to coach on the defensive side of football. 7, if I got 7 offensive guys and the defense only has 5 or 6, then the numbers game, the offensive team wins. And then heaven forbid, the quarterback runs the ball as well. That's a problem. That's a headache. Now the defense has to pick poison. Okay, do you go to a nickel? Can you get to your nickel defense? Well, guess what? If Tennessee doesn't sub, if they don't have a substitution, then that means you can't bring in a sub. You can't substitute. So if they leave their 11 on the field and go 3 receivers trips right and take everybody past the number and past the hash, and then on the left side, okay, on the wide side of the field, they got 1 receiver, then how do you defend it? Okay, they took 3 receivers and put them in the boundary. A good coaching friend of mine, Coach Lindsey back in the day said, the football gods say never take cover 4 with 3 into the boundaries. Yes, that's correct, but that doesn't apply to Tennessee, because what Tennessee's going to turn around and do is they're going to throw the daggone ball. Now, what are the routes that really affect and put pressure on the defense? It's the eye discipline and the switch routes. The switch routes. You have 2 receivers. You have the outside receiver going in. You have the inside receiver who pauses and then switches. They call it switch route, and he goes down the sideline. Touchdown. First play of the game. Okay. Herndon Hooker, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation. I mean, come on. You want to really talk about another weapon, why Tennessee's offense is so good? You got a quarterback that's a grown man. 6'4", 215 pounds, 218 pounds. Grown man. He's been playing football in college since 2017, sports fans. Let me just break it down to you like this. I had a chance. I took some kids up to Virginia Tech to watch a game. They played North Carolina. It was a 5-6 overtime game. Herndon Hooker was part of that. He was on that team. He was on the team. That was 2019. So now you have a grown man, 24 years old, soon to be, 25 years old in January. Okay. I mean, we're really talking about a second-year player in the NFL, sometimes third-year player in the NFL. Okay. Instead, Herndon Hooker, who's the offense is averaging over 350 yards a game passing, and they're averaging just under 200 yards a game rushing, and he is the weapon. He is composed in the pocket. Sports fans, he can outrun you. He can run over you. He can throw the ball deep. What really impresses me, and I've had to watch it the last couple of games watching him play, is he stands big in the pocket. And he knows where he's going with the football. See, here's the thing about mental toughness. And he wasn't a selected starter when he came to Knoxville. Okay, he had to earn his way. He was a backup, but he earned it. He earned his time. He earned the respect of his teammates. And those offensive linemen, and let me go ahead and give them some credit. You talking about an offensive line, those are veteran kids playing. Those are juniors, redshirt sophomores, transfer kids from the portal. I mean, you got kids that, they're not freshmen. They're not sophomores that are having to get on the field and play in the SEC. Okay? They are kids that have put their time in. There are some kids that, went through the peaks and valley last year, and they had to go up against Georgia last year in that unbelievable defense. Had to play against Alabama last year. Okay, they got Alabama back. Yes, they did. But those kids are battle tested. You turn around and you have the right kid that transfers in, the left tackle that comes in, and he's from Florida. I mean, he just came from another SEC school. Okay, so you have Cade Mays in there. You have the Carvin kid in there. You've got kids that can really play. And the greatest part about watching these kids play is that they don't panic. They don't panic. You might get them for a sack. You might get them for a hit for loss. The most amazing part of watching the offensive line play along with Javonte Spraggins, watching him get out there, the Gerald kid, the Mincy kid, watching. Even when you get a tackle for a loss, watch the offensive lineman for Tennessee. They don't panic. Their body language doesn't change. They prepare for the next play because they know that they're going to catch somebody sleeping. Okay, so you got a veteran offensive line group. You got two outstanding running backs. Thunder and lightning, that's probably a little corny. I'm going to call it speed and more speed. One smallest kid has over 400 yards rushing, and on the right kids that has over 400 yards rushing. So pick your poison. Who are you going to stop? Okay. One is a shifty runner, right? Got the small kid, and the right kid will just outrun you. Okay. I mean, pick your poison. Who are you going to defend? But that's not the biggest monster. The biggest monster are the receivers, because Cedric Perlman was the big kid for them. He was the kid that everybody coming back, preseason, Fred Biletnikoff kid, award finalist. The Tillman kid, Cedric Tillman. He was the kid. He was the kid everybody was watching. He ended up having an ankle injury, had to go out. I didn't know who Jalen Hyatt was. Did you? You didn't know him, neither did I. But I tell you what, he's got 14 touchdowns on the season. He's got 15 receptions of his 45 receptions, 15 are over 30 yards. That's scary. Okay. Once again, the switch route. The outside receiver goes in, the slot, the number 2 receiver, the inside receiver, hesitates and goes out down the sidelines. Okay. If you try to play that, they turn around and throw the quick hitches. Okay. They throw the bubble plays. Okay. They have the bubble and go plays. Okay. So one receiver blocks, or then he fakes and blocks. He takes off running. We call that key bye-bye. Oh, y'all know me. No, that's my favorite play. But Tennessee runs it to perfection. Hey, listen, they have, and listen, the height. Okay. The Hyatt kid is only 6 feet tall, but he is the most dynamic out of all of them now catching the football. Because guess what he does? He doesn't drop passes. Don't forget that. He doesn't drop passes. That is scary. Okay? Receivers that don't drop passes, that'll make you lose sleep. Brew McCoy, 6'3", another big receiver. Okay? Tillman kid, 6'3". Okay? I mean, when you have receivers that big, and if they can run and they can catch, then that puts all the pressure in space on the secondary and the safeties. Oh, Ramel Keaton, how can I forget about him? He's averaging 17 yards per catch. So now all of these receivers are averaging either 17 yards per catch, 15 yards per catch, 20 yards per catch. And then you have the Hyatt kid with the 14 touchdowns. And if that doesn't scare you enough, averaging 49 points a game, that's what Tennessee Vols are doing. They have over 500 yards total offense a game. We're the top scoring team in the nation as we speak today. Yes, they've beaten, can't take anything away from them. Great job by the offensive scheme. That is the reason why they scare everybody, because it's all balanced. You don't know who's going to get the football. And when they play the numbers game inside the box, in between those two tackles, if you don't have enough men to cover how many they have in the box, if you turn around, if they got 7 in the box and you turn around and put 6 or 7 in the box, guess what they're going to do? Boom. They throwing it deep. One guy throws quick hitch, other guy takes off running. One guy goes a quick slant, other guy goes deep. Pick your poison. You stand out there with one high safety if you want to. It's going to be a long night for you. You go too high safety, they turn and run the football. Sports fans, there it is for you. The greatest offense right now in college football, Tennessee Volunteers. Go back and look at some other shows. I was telling y'all this was coming. Be careful. Watch out for University of Tennessee Vols. Okay, now they're going to have their chance to prove to the world that they're just as good as they think they are. And guess what? It's more than just about throwing a goalpost in the river. Now they're trying to throw some souls in the river. Okay, they're trying to hurt some feelings. Okay, University of Tennessee. Why are they so good? You heard it right here. Coach One Sports, the best offense in collegiate football today. No one stopped them. The only one who stopped them is themselves. And sports fans, that doesn't happen a whole lot. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. Get a chance to talk some football. Hey, if you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share. Once again, appreciate you watching Coach One Sports with yours truly, Coach Kevin Bull Jones. We'll see you later.